Be well, there's one obvious one, but I'll not go with the obvious one.
Okay.
Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Brian Flores just done such a job there. Like end of the season before last 2019 season, after week 1, week 2, that just looked like the biggest train wreck you could imagine.
Yeah.
Players playing after week 1 saying they wanted to leave immediately. Bad vibes around the place, bad atmosphere. And then obviously they managed to sort of get things settled down a wee bit, made a few moves. In that season, I think that was the year they made the trade for the trade away Tunsil and got the picks back. And finished that season with a couple of respectable results. Then moved into this year obviously with Tua being drafted and whatnot. And they came in this year, and they just I said it from week 1, week 2. I think we were chatting.
Oh yeah, you were high on the Dolphins immediately.
I was like so we were chatting about something, and you were saying something, or somebody was saying something like somebody won against the other night against the Dolphins or whatever, and I think it was the Rams. The Rams won against the Dolphins or something, I think, or whatever, and somebody was giving off about them anyway. But I said
that was likely me.
It probably was.
Yeah,
but I was like,
that sounds something like I would do.
I was like, lads, I watched that game. That defense, that Miami defense, that's Miami team's a good wee team, like.
Yeah.
And that was a wee bit of Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic was there under the helm too. But
he was.
That defense was real good. The likes of Xavier Howard and was it Xavier Howard that has the most picks and interceptions for them?
Other cornerback.
Why can't I remember? It's going to rack my head. I'm just going to have to do it because I'm a big fan of him and I'm just completely mind blank. But
no, the Dolphins were good this year. Like Flores has coached them well. Like as the season went on, you were just like, he's coaching them hard. Like they were really, really improving as the season went on, and they were fiery. Like they were winning. They looked good in losses in certain areas. And they kicked on. He was coaching, like he wasn't taking any shit from them. Like that was the thing. Like Flores he's a hard nosed coach. Like he sets really high standards. Like
he does, surely. He's obviously under the Belichick. He's from the Belichick coaching tree, so he's definitely sort of being bold and brash enough to have that confidence about him, where he's not willing to take any shit from anybody.
Yeah.
And fair play to him for the likes of last season. Just maybe that first season when he took charge or whatever, and things wasn't going well, and people were just immediately shooting him down, saying it's a horrible year. But last year they got some good results, and they looked like a proper team. Like the good thing was that they weren't a blow you out of the water offense team, and they weren't a blow you out of the water defense team. But overall, they were just so sound.
Yeah.
Like across the board, they were just consistent, and I was really glad to see it happen, because I kind of like it whenever teams kind of get it right.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when teams get it right, because you looked at them that year before and you thought that there just looks like an absolute
train wreck,
and then he just,
like, even that season that you're talking about, like it was the tank for Tua stuff.
yes,
and he wasn't having it. Like they didn't tank for Tua. They ended up 6th, in the draft. Like even that year when it still wasn't all, like it wasn't as good obviously as the performances that they had last year. But even that year, he wasn't having the tank for Tua thing. He was like, absolutely not. I'm not tanking in any way, shape, or form. It's not happening. Like,
he's that's what you like too, because you like to see teams or coaches sort of
set standards,
because it's easy just to say, well, we're in the tank, or we're just tanking, we don't care about winning. But I think that's a whole mentality thing too, like just trying to get into your team that we're actually trying to play for your job and play for show a bit of want in your game. But I can't do this roster. But I know Xavier Howard, Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. Byron Jones in the other corner. Xavier Howard, he had a great year as well, and I said some other players like Van Ginkel, Kyle Van Noy as well on the defense. Some real good players, as I say. It just was a real sound team all throughout.
Yeah.
It wasn't like maybe it wasn't like a defense where it was. Who could you maybe like
They did play the Patriots man scheme as well too. Like they were sort of manning up as far as corners and stuff went too. Like the defense was very much a Patriots scheme, but that scheme can be difficult when it's played right. And they were playing pretty good, solid, hard defense last year. They were making it tough for teams. Like,
or surely that'll be an interesting division in the next few years. Like just to see, I mean. The thing I like as well, I was looking through the draft order the other day, like, and they're sitting at third or something.
Third, yeah.
And like I just thought that's fucking class. Like they've really got that work well.
And they have their quarterback. Like I know there's question marks around too. There's sort of, talk of maybe possibility of maybe they don't think the two is the right guy, and maybe they're a wee bit worried that the injury and stuff is maybe taken away from him. But they did draft him last year. I think it'd be strange if they moved off him. Like I think they'll give him a run this year.
It'd be strange if they moved him off this quickly. I think that was part of the problem. Not part of the problem, but that was part of the argument last year. Whenever they were playing so well, I think they were over 500 at a point, and they were playing well each week. And Fitzmagic was doing wonderful stuff as he always does.
Yeah.
And then the announcement came that Fitzmagic would not be starting at the weekend, it'd be Tua. And then word came out that they were saying that, is Tua even ready? But I think some were also saying this is maybe like a trial for Tua, just to see what's he like, because the team is sound across the board.
Yeah.
How can he adapt to it? And they're trying to get a feel, I think. And there was games where he was pulled.
Yeah.
And there was games where Fitzmagic came back in. But you never know. It'll be interesting.
No off season or anything for him too would have been hard. And then coming off an injury and everything as well, it was probably difficult for Tua this year. Like,
yeah.
As I said, that big massive injury, no football, and then like a shortened preseason and all that carry on too. It'd have been a difficult year especially for him to be a rookie. Like,
oh, it would surely. It'd be interesting to see just what they do. Whether they're the third pick overall. Obviously, expect Lawrence to go to Jacksonville, and Fields is there, and then what's your other guy, quarterback?
Well, you've got Trey Lance. You've got the boy out of BYU. Zach Wilson.
Yeah, they've got a few guys there. You're just wondering, would they be bold enough to take the third pick and trade down, and maybe get trade up for get a later first rounder, maybe an early second. Maybe
there's going to be options at that third pick. Like there could be somebody maybe willing to move up that they're chasing a quarterback. If maybe a quarterback doesn't go 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Although I've seen something today that apparently the Jets are open and listening to offers for Sam Darnold, so that means that they could probably take a quarterback at 2. So that would probably be Lawrence and maybe Fields, or Lawrence and Wilson. So it'd be interesting if there's anybody that's maybe willing to move up to 3. Yeah. If you moved up from say, if there was somebody maybe like Carolina at 7 or something, like if you moved back from 3, got the 7th pick, maybe a little bit of something else, a few other tasty wee bits and pieces, and you only move back 4 spots, you'll still get a player there.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's every year. We're always sort of interested to see what way these things can go. But just to run it off from Miami, I think that's a real good thing, because that's like kind of like thinking about the Texans now. Like imagine, it's hard to imagine the Texans getting this turned around as good as the Dolphins have done.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dolphins were as bad as maybe the Texans had been. The Dolphins haven't been great the last couple of years, but I don't know if their train wreck was maybe as bad as the Texans' train wreck here at the minute.
No, like as I said, Bowles just kind of was like, this isn't a train wreck, we're doing it my way. And even that first year where it started out bad, he wasn't taking any shit, and they didn't tank. They made and then just, and that sort of like mentality just carried through to last year, and they greatly improved. Like,
did surely. No, they had a great year for me, and I enjoyed watching them each and every week. They have a damn good wee team there, and like as I say, they've still got pieces there even going into next year. Like they've set themselves up well. I'm not saying by any means they'll be a contender next year and the year after, but if they set themselves a solid foundation, there's nothing to say in the next lucky years they could be having a shout at having a run at something. But
that's your first winner then, the Dolphins?
It'd be my first winners for sure.
Fair enough.